Hey, I'll have a great episode here for you today, Mr. Hitesh Mohanlal. We're talking a lot on finances and data, but largely around customer teams in the business. We're blending this financial aspect that Hitesh and WOW Advisors are a financial organisation helping with organisational finances, but we're talking about how to really lead that through a company to achieve great things. Brilliant episode. I know you'll get a lot from it. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Enterprise Excellence Podcast, where we share knowledge from global experts and practitioners in how to embed excellence for sustainable results. How to create a culture of continuous improvement and innovation using best practices in operational excellence, customer experience and sales, leadership, strategy, people development, and environmental and social good.
I'm your host, Brad Jeavons, coming to you from Brisbane, Australia. Enhancing an organisation's ability to continuously improve and innovate at all levels creates amazing results. Up to 10 times productivity improvement, customer and employee experience increases, as well as safer operations and reduced environmental impact. Unfortunately, most programs deployed to enhance the company's ability to improve and adapt fail to deliver. A select few have overcome this trend and truly embedded excellence. This show explores these organisations and steps you can take to improve yours. This show is proudly brought to you by the Enterprise Excellence Community and Group, which is focused on helping organisations embed excellence for sustainable results and a better future. Through the group, you can attend workshops focused on the most important topics to embed excellence. You can also get hold of free resources from the download section of the website, or reach out to one of our members for some advice and help. Visit enterpriseexcellencegroup.com.au to learn more. Welcome to episode 206 of the Enterprise Excellence Podcast. It is such a pleasure to have Hitesh Mohanlal on the show with us today. Hitesh is the author of many books, Passport to Wealth and Financial Freedom, one targeted on the medical practitioners, specifically for them, and then also the Passport to Wealth for business owners. We're here today to talk about the three-way win of customer, team, and the company. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Hitesh has a wealth of knowledge, and I'm looking forward to delving into this important topic today. Hitesh, thank you for joining us.
That's all right. Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it.
No, well, I'm pleased to be here.
So Hitesh, what sent you down this path in your career of exploring, wealth and financial freedom for people, as well as that three-way win of customer, team, and the company?
The wealth and the financial freedom and the sort of the time freedom. Time freedom is something that came about many years ago. I was about 34, and I had a cousin at that time. She was 38. She had lupus, and so she was sick, and she used to come in and out of hospital. But there was this particular period of time where she was in for quite a period of time, and I would go and visit her every Sunday. And then on this one particular Sunday, she came. She was not feeling too good. She was pretty down, and so she said, "I have this regret." And I said, "What?" She goes, "I wish I had gone to Fiji with you." And a number of years before that, we had discussed going to Fiji together, just her and I and her family. And they didn't come because her husband couldn't get time off. Mm-hmm. And she goes, I've got this particular regret. And I just went, don't worry. Once you're better, you can go and you'll have a good time. And that was on a Sunday. And then on a Tuesday, she passed away.
Oh, wow.
And that took a really big knock on me, because at that time I was back in the UK. I had a fairly young business, and I was doing about 6 days a week. Mm. And that really hit me, and it was like, I don't want regrets in my life. Mm. And so I kind of went immediately to a 4-day week, but my business wasn't set up for a 4-day week. So it kind of fell apart, and over the years I kind of got that bit to work. And because I'm an accountant, I deal with money and all the rest of it. The wealth part wasn't too difficult for me. I had some really good mentors, so that really helped. So the investing bit kind of fell in place. Mm. But when it came to clients, we didn't realize what was happening with clients until COVID. Mm. So when COVID came about, we had lots of calls before all the government incentives came through, and a lot of them came from doctors who are high earning individuals. Mm. And they were kind of saying, look, if I don't have any income, I'm in real trouble. And I'm thinking, but you earn all this money, so where is it?
Yeah.
And we never really went that space because that was considered a financial planner space. And we weren't financial planners. So that's how the book came about, the Financial Freedom book came about. Yeah.
And it's great. And I love the backstory too with Hitesh, because it's often these moments of life that send you down a path.
Yes,
and it's put you to this path where you help so many companies of all sorts nowadays to actually become, more financially free,
Yes.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
Hitesh, what's the foundation of the win-win for customer, team and the company?
That came about because we do a lot of business advisory. And when we do business advisory, I'm always looking for businesses that have not just been successful for a while, but been consistently successful. And sometimes what happens is you have a change of leadership or you have a change of direction and the business kind of loses it. And you kind of go back and you think, well, how did this business particularly get through and this one didn't?
Yeah.
And out of doing all the researching and all the conversations I had with people, what I actually found was that businesses tend to concentrate on one particular aspect. So if you go back to 50 years ago, it was like the customer's always king, customer's always right. And yeah, that kind of worked, but then you were kind of forgetting that if you concentrate just on the customer, there's other things that can go wrong, right?
Yeah.
So what we found was you have to be a consistently sustainable business or even a small business unit. So if you're part of a bigger organization, if you have a smaller unit, you really need 3 wins. So the customer's got to win. Your team has to win. And I learned this about 8 years ago when a team member came to me on a particular matter. And then the third one is that the business has to win. Because if none of those dynamics work, it doesn't work long term for one or the other, and it kind of falls apart.
Yeah, I love it. Because while you're talking about that, Hitesh, I was thinking of, you got companies where they have really talked about purely the customer. Yes. And then you have also people like Richard Branson who went, no, we'll look after your staff, they look after the customer. And then ultimately, if a company's not making money, it's not going to be about.
Correct.
Yeah, it's so wise.
Yeah, it is. And what Richard Branson says is really true. If you look after your team, they will, in a way, look after your customers. The thing that I will say with team is you've got to really get them to align themselves with the business. And once they get that, then it's amazing what those team members will do for you.
So with the... what do you find are the key ingredients for a company to focus on to get that outcome where we're actually focusing on the customer, the team, and the company outcomes?
So I tend to focus quite a lot on the team. And there's a fine balance between what works for the team and what works for the business. Okay, so sometimes we go down the path, I'm always going to look after this, my team has got to be wonderful and special and you'll do all kinds of things for them. And they still don't necessarily relate back. But the worst thing that can happen is you give your team everything, but it's not working for the business, and it doesn't become. It just becomes really frustrating.
Yeah.
So I do put a lot of emphasis. If I have a business where things aren't working, I tend to concentrate on the team. How do we get that team to be totally aligned to what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Because once you get them aligned to what the business wants to do and how it wants to progress and move, they will understand that what they are demanding may or may not be unreasonable.
Yeah.
So they think, because they're thinking, this is what the business wants, this is what I want, how do I make it work? And they actually work that out themselves.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Which is, and we find that surprising because we always get, as business owners, we always think somehow that the team or members of their team are looking out for themselves.
Yeah.
And there are instances where that happens, because I get it all the time from clients, but it's because we haven't communicated to that member or the whole team what it is we are trying to do.
Yeah. And Hitesh, I know we have a lot of guests on where we're talking about that strategic alignment and alignment to the purpose and the vision and the culture. The other bit I love is just even that financial alignment. Like, how have you seen that companies can go about with teams having them gain an understanding of the financial position of the company and the part they're playing, or maybe challenges they're facing?
So when it comes to numbers, I will say this: I have never met, and I'll repeat this, I have never met a consistently successful business person or business that hasn't got a track of what their numbers mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, a lot of people then think, well, does that mean I need to go out and get a 4-year degree in accountancy or whatever it is? And that's not what it means. What it means is you need someone to explain to you what the numbers are telling you, and then you go away and make decisions based on those numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, because numbers never ever lie.
Yeah.
And what happens, and what you can do is, I've got clients where they'll turn around and say, you know what, I don't mind my team knowing what the figures are. So here we at WOW, anybody, doesn't matter what level you are, is able to actually look at what our figures say.
Yeah.
They can probably if they really want to, they'll work out what my pay is.
Yeah.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay? And then you'll get others who will say, you know what, no, I want this guarded and I want that guarded and all the rest of it. And there are advantages and disadvantages to both. But if you want your team to work in a certain way, you will have to give them some numbers so that they understand what's happening. So if you've got a sales team, well, the sales numbers are going to be really important.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to give them that information, otherwise they don't know. And just saying, well, we're going to concentrate just on you as a salesperson, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because you're concentrating on an individual, not on a whole.
Yeah. Hitesh, I was chatting to a previous CEO I worked with for a number of years, a long time actually, earlier today, and the business is now sold and they're now going to the cattle industry. Which is really big. Quite different. Packaging to cattle.
Yes.
But you know, I remember when I was a young chap in that company and I had my P&L and I knew my full financials for my team. I had strategy connection. But like, I was concerned about the financials. Yeah. You know, I knew that if I wrote off $100, well, we're looking to only make 5% net. You know, that extrapolates out to a huge amount of money that you got to sell to actually make it. Like, you had that financial acumen.
Yeah, and you see, there's lots of things you can do. So in the beginning, if we have a business owner or someone who hasn't really looked at or concentrated on their figures, and that's not unusual. A lot of people go to an accountant and they say, can you do my tax and can you do my accounts? And you get the figures and they're 9 months down the road. Wow. And they're not really useful, and that's what most people do. But if you, and the way that I'll explain numbers is, I'll put it towards it's like if you think of sports, right? Every sport has a scorecard. And the only way someone knows what to do strategic-wise depends on what's on the scoreboard, right? Yeah. So if you're winning, you might say, well, we're going to now play a little bit defensive because we're winning. But if you need to score goals or whatever it is you need to do, you might need to become aggressive. Yeah. Figures and business is the same thing. Yeah. And it works the same way. So if you imagine trying to go out and play a game of cricket or soccer or footy, and you have no scoreboard, what do you do during the game? Yeah.
And I think, you know, you see the players often in businesses, I guess I see they turn up quite demotivated or just turn up to do their job.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, absolutely.
There's certainly not adaptation going on or complete ownership.
Yeah, and it comes back to all the things that you have discussed in the past. What is the mission? What is the values? What is the culture? And people sometimes think, well, we'll come up with a whole bunch of schemes to make culture, but culture doesn't come that way. No, it doesn't. And that's why you get a lot of firms who do an awful lot of things, but culture doesn't come because it's not aligned yet.
Yeah, I think I really love it, Hitesh, and I can sense that it's about getting those 3 wins of the customer, the team, and the company.
Yep.
But a key centre point of it is the team. And a key part of that is transparency, like being able to, the team can see their scores, know their financials, know how they're going strategically, culturally, and lead their team forward as if, I guess, as a business owner, you're leading your business forward.
Well, you are. And I think also when it comes to the team, I think what happens when we're dealing with, because one of the things that we do as part of our business advisory is, if you're a business owner and you are doing 80-hour weeks, how do you go from an 80-hour week to a 40-hour week?
Yeah.
Right? And you say that and you think, no, that's not impossible. And all I say, it's possible. You just got to trust people.
Yeah.
And when you have a team, and I see it even with business, small business units and all the rest of it, manager goes on holiday and they're still dealing with emails and this and that and all the rest of it. And I always say, either they haven't been given the resources to create a team that they need, i.e. there's just not enough money there for them to sort of delegate the work, or they're not delegating at all or trusting their team.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you trust your team and accept that they're going to fall, just give it to them.
Yeah.
Because what I have found is that is the only way you will reduce your workload.
Is to actually create that empowerment, that
Yes.
ownership. I like the language I see a lot around. I understand Kai Sear is one that I've seen where they've, right from back in the 50s or the late 40s, he I can't remember his name, it's called the amoeba model, I think, where he would empower teams, give them the
Yes.
financials, let them go forward. His was actually to navigate union power after the Second World War, funny enough.
Right,
But you can understand that if
Yes.
you want to navigate union power, make things transparent,
Yes.
create it so it's like someone's business.
Yeah.
But in today's world, people are so time poor, it's even down to that point of your own freedom with time. And
Yes. And what you find is, and when we speak to clients, especially new clients that come on board, and we ask them what's priority at the moment, most people will say life-work balance. And I always say life-work balance is a mindset.
Yep.
Everybody deserves it. Everybody can do it. It's just a matter of working out who you are going to trust to do the work that you always do.
Yeah. Hitesh, like, there's that real starting point there, which is to trust a team and create transparency. Like, why would you say for a company or a leader of a team or a leader of a whole company to start with that? What would you say is the starting point and a few steps after that to be able to start setting this up and what we're talking about?
If you want to trust a team member or a team, you actually have to physically trust them. So I always say it's sometimes better to push a person into a swimming pool and see if they swim, okay? Because when you find out that they can't really swim and you have to help them out, as long as they realize that you will help them out or you will stand in front and defend them, they start trusting you. Once they trust you, once they feel that they're in a sort of safe, protective environment, they will go out and do bolder things. So the way that I always say it to my team is, look, I'm going to just go and do it. That's fine. You are going to fail. You are going to fall. But when that happens, we'll deal with it. And if I have to stand in front of a client, I will stand in front of the client and I will defend you as much as I can. I will make sure that I take that off, but you're in a safe place and I trust you, just go and do it. And when people fall, and they fall all the time, we just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
But what then happens is, over a period of time, they learn, and it means they rely less on me, and that's why now I can do 3 day a week.
Yeah. That's great. And it's great to hear your journey as much as how you help so many companies take this journey too.
Yes.
I love that analogy too, Hitesh, around like you're pushing someone in the pool to give them the deep end, actually have a go in there, but you're also willing to be there to support them, to help them as they struggle, and then eventually they can swim.
Eventually they do, and everybody is different. So when someone comes on within the WOW group, we are a bit careful who we're dealing with. So we do get their personality traits done first. So we know which ones we can push in the pool and which ones where we say, right, go in the pool and let's hold hands.
Yeah.
Because not everybody's the same. Some people you throw in the pool and they will get so scared that they won't do anything. So you do have to be mindful of who is in your team. But generally I don't have any hesitation saying, look, I know this is new for you. Just go and do it and see what happens. But what I find is when you allow your team members to become what I call uncomfortable, that's when a lot of magic happens.
Yeah, I love it. I guess that's that nice level of pressure that can help someone really grow and shine. And then so you get that trust. They know that they're not going to be crucified or in a really bad situation if something does go wrong, and you help them. And then from there, I'm understanding you can then start to really help set up the scoreboard and get the measures there and the financials, and
Correct.
And then they really own it.
Then they really own it.
Yeah. What do you think, Hitesh, stops more companies out there setting up small teams, empowering them, but also making key measures transparent? What do you feel stops companies doing it?
I think there's a couple of things. One is just lack of knowledge. People don't realize. So if you think about business people who go into business, they've never been taught anything. You've never been taught about money at school. You've never really had communication skills taught to you either. You've never had man management skills taught to you either. And all of a sudden you're in this jungle and you're trying to navigate a whole bunch of things, and it's just too much. And people just kind of trundle along and get through. So I think number one is just lack of information, lack of accountability, not being able to pick up the phone and bash ideas or sound ideas, or getting someone from the outside to say, well, I'm thinking of this, what do you think? And a big part of what we do is that. So I think knowledge is one. I think the second thing is there's this fear that if I do become transparent, everyone will know everything, and then a lot more demands will come. I have not found that.
No, totally. I've seen the opposite. Less comes because they own it more.
Yes.
Well, Hitesh, I really appreciate that knowledge, and I think there's so much to be gained from it. And what I love in our conversation is the piece about financials, because we have a lot of people on this show where we talk about connection to culture and strategy. But financials are important, and it brings a whole nother level of ownership and accountability with that.
And I think, look, and there's this fear of, so I have a lot of medical doctors, right? And they are, without being rude to them, they're not the best when it comes to money or wealth. They just happen to be in a high income industry, okay? And when we tell certainly our practice owners, look, you got to sit down and look at these figures, there's this immediate sort of, oh, no, because it's an uncomfortable place to be. Once you go through it, and after about 4 or 5 months, they really get to understand what it means, and now they're kind of more interested in what the figures tell them, because then they realize that they're making decisions which are more sound as opposed to a gut decision. There's one of my mentors a number of years back was a guy called Mike O'Hagan, who used to run Mini Movers here in Queensland. And I've seen him kind of do this. He never understood figures. He's a tradie at heart. He started off with 1U in 1960 or whatever it was, right? But he had a good accountant, and the accountant said, no, we've got to keep a track of the figures. And even up to now, he says, I don't really understand it, but he goes, when someone puts a set of figures in front, they tell me what it means, and then based on that, I make a decision. And that's why I said, you don't always have to understand what it means, you just need to know what you need to do. And once you get that, figures make sense.
And I can really sense that action with it too, that you're going to see the figures and take action to make
you have to, you got to take it. You can't just say, well, okay, that's what I made. It's like, okay, that's what I made. What do I now need to do to make that better?
Brilliant. Hitesh, what's been a recent insight for you in this field of business improvement and financials? Like, you've got such a wealth of knowledge, but what's been something recently that's been an aha moment for you?
Ooh, that's a bit of a tough one. In terms of figures, or in terms of
business, anything?
Business. I think the biggest thing that we are seeing from clients is the skill shortage that we have in Australia. It's a massive problem, and I think and that becomes really difficult, because if you're trying to build a team and you've got a skill shortage falling around, and you don't have a team that's aligned to you, you get a lot of churning of people, and you don't realize it, but that has a serious effect on what your figures come out with. So we spend an awful lot of time now with clients having discussions about what is the skill shortage, how are we going to plug that, how do we keep people?
How do we keep people? Because the turnover rate that is typically going higher and higher in companies just exacerbates
Well,
it.
it is, and I always come back to the same thing. You're asking people, if you're employing someone on a full-time basis, you're asking them to spend more time in your business or your business unit than they are spending at home with their family. Now, if you're going to ask them to do that, you've got to give them something. You've got to give them something that makes them feel this is worth it. Okay? And until you do, you are going to have this churning effect. And pay has, I know people say, pay. I know people who, in fact, I had a discussion today. I mentor a number of chartered accountant students and people who are in managers themselves. And one of the conversations we had was, if you had more pay, would it mean you stay or does it mean you go if the environment is toxic? And she was going to go.
I think I see exactly the same around the place. And the great thing is everything we've spoken about in this episode, Hitesh, is such good information for leaders of teams or leaders of whole companies to think about. Because you're so right, especially in Australia. Skill shortage coupled with turnover. So the companies that can pull down the turnover and build their capability at growing people, which we've spoken about, are the ones that are going to win.
They are.
Too true.
They are.
So Hitesh, how can people reach out to you and get help from WOW if they are looking for that help, or also get hold of your books?
Okay, so WOW Advisors is it's pretty much an advisory business, but we do a lot of tax and accounting. So if you go on the website, which is WOW Advisors, that's wowadvisors.com.au, you can contact us through there. You can email me directly, Hitesh, that's Hitesh at wowadvisors.com.au. If you want to get access to the books, they're all available on the website.
Oh, nice.
So you can get in touch with that. But to be quite honest, for your guys, if you email me, I will get you a PDF copy out of the generosity of WOW Advisors.
That's awesome, Hitesh. Well, Hitesh, thank you so much for coming on and sharing such broad business knowledge, and also allowing us to unpack this piece around definitely, customers, team, and the business, and the real bit around teams and that transparency, the way that we lead them, the way that we engage them to create better futures. So I appreciate it.
No, you're most welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Hitesh.
All
Bye for now.
Cool.
What a great episode. Remember, you can go visit Hitesh's website to learn more. You can also go to the enterpriseexcellencegroup.com.au under resources to get hold of additional tools and techniques that can help you in this area. There were two key takeaways for me from this episode, talking about financials and the importance of teams, and really building that strong team through great leadership that are connected to customers and really able to drive great outcomes, because that's where your financial results come from. And I think it's really aware of Hitesh to be focused on that for his customers, rather than just reporting on the financials and getting them stressed about maybe some poor outcomes or happy about some great ones. It's like, this is the stuff that truly drives the results. The other aspect that I really gained a lot from was the conversation on transparency. People knowing and having connection to the results, to the financials, to the measures, and knowing why, and being able to make a difference towards it. Such great concepts, elements of enterprise excellence that truly drive results. Thanks again for your time and knowledge, Hitesh. Thanks for helping us create a better future. Bye for now.